Does everybody have a book, a thing of quotes?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're talking about giving and receiving today, and we're using a lot of Bible. Is anybody warm in here? I'm going to turn the air on. Is that okay?
If you could speak above the air conditioner is noisy.
Is it?
Yeah, it's noisy.
So it's hard to hear above. Would you rather be, which is your choice?
You need a new
Oh, I
microphone.
hear it.
No,
Well, yeah,
doesn't sound better.
there's one over there and there's one over here, so I just turned this one on. But Jack was turning that one on also for you guys. If you're hot, you can turn it on.
That is very noisy.
It's noisy.
Do you want me to turn it off?
I'll try to speak louder and,
Well, it's been on before. It's been on every week.
okay.
Well, not every
Yeah,
week.
yeah, but mostly it's on. So I want to welcome everybody that's joined us. We have a new online presence now, and I don't know, are you putting us on Facebook, David, at all? You are putting us on Facebook, but I don't think it stays more than a couple of days. So we are on a YouTube, and if you look up Unity of Pomona Valley on YouTube, you can get an archive of our Sunday services, right? Yes. So thank you. Thank you for all of that, David. I want to welcome you to our service this week. It is July 20th. It's hard to believe the summer is going so quickly. And I'm just trying to get my bearings. I think we're ready to sing. And one of my favorite songs is Use Me. Julie Matonga is with us today. Back with us and your nimble fingers. Thank you. Thank you for sharing yourself. And to those who don't know, these beautiful slides, almost all of the music slides have been made by Julie. And I've saved them all these years, and they're amazing artistry. So, let us pray. I invite us to be mindful of each moment of each day. To be mindful of the room we're in, of the colors and the sounds around us, of the feel of being an embodied spirit. We are connected to all that is, through the one in which we live and move and have our being. And so let us take our mindfulness, awareness within these sacred bodies, allowing our breath to move us deep within, to our heart. Our heart, that space that helps us be one and know our oneness with the divine. Our heart that reminds us of our oneness with each other and with all human beings across the world. And our heart that reminds us of our interconnectedness to Mother Earth and all that dwell upon the face of Mother Earth. The rocks, the trees, the creepy crawlers, the animal life. We're all a part of God's creation and a divine cycle of giving and receiving. In the divine plan, the plant life breathes in carbon dioxide and recycles it to be oxygen, which we breathe in and use. And we breathe out carbon dioxide. And so there is this giving and receiving on a life level that is beyond wonder. And so it is with all our giving and receiving, for it is said you can only give to yourself, for you are everyone. Anytime we give, we are giving to someone that is really a part of who we are, a part of the wholeness, the wonder of us. And when we receive, we are blessing the person that is giving, the system that is giving, by our willingness to take it in, to take in the blessings, to receive, allowing the divine channels of blessings to flow in amazing and beautiful ways, as well as life-giving and life-saving ways. We are all givers. We are all receivers. We breathe in, receiving wondrous air, and we breathe out, giving back to the earth and the universe. And so let us become more aware of our role as givers and receivers in the wholeness of the oneness in which we live. And so it is. Amen. Now let us sing the Lord's Prayer. wondrous things after our service in our fellowship room, our office. I invite you to all join us. I've already talked about our new YouTube site, so please let people know how they can find us. Reverend Drack has offered us classes on the Enneagram. We had our first one 2 weeks ago, and it was really amazing. So the next one is today at 2:30, and this is where we get to learn more about ourselves, each other, and our differences, to understand also our weaknesses and our strengths. So it was really interesting, I felt, last week. After that, we have Soul Connection. So our Baha'i friend Elmitra Henderson is gathering a group for a circle here in the chapel at 5 o'clock. And it's just a lovely thing. People can bring something to share, a poem, a thought, a song, a question, whatever they want to bring to the group. It's very sacred. And I found online, I've been talking a lot to my Unity classmates, and this was put online by Sarah Phillips. I do not know Sarah Phillips, but it says, "We believe in the sacredness of all people. We support lovingly our neighbors no matter where they were born or where they are documented or not. We support a person's autonomy, better than anatomy, right? A person's autonomy and right to make decisions about their own body, and we specifically support a woman's right to make her own reproductive and health decisions. We support the equality of all people, regardless of the color of their skin. We believe each individual knows their own gender. We believe love is love and support the LGBTQIA community. We support democracy and the 3 branches of government where no president can usurp power or be above the law." So our unity movement has not made any statement. And I'm wondering what you think of this. I know all congregations have mixed red and blue people, and that's wonderful. We want mixture. We want people with different understandings and ideas. So think about this and let me know what you think about it. I also want to say our book study is Monday at 7 tomorrow. I am moving our meditation from Wednesday to Thursday this week, and because I'm going to be out of town on Wednesday. Marianne Cordova Breen's ordination is next Saturday at 10:30 a.m. here. I think it's in the big sanctuary, and I hope you can join us for that. And then I am working with Marianne and Tracy, the ministers here at the Spiritual Life Center, to put on an interfaith prayer vigil, opening the heart, sharing support and prayer for chaotic times. And it's going to be at 6 o'clock on Wednesday evening, Wednesday, July 30th. So that will be another night that will change our meditation time. There's also an interfaith vigil for the disappeared and the fearful on Sunday, August 3rd at 7 p.m. And our next Compassionate Pomona meeting is Thursday, August 7th. Next month, we're talking about creativity. Cynthia Barnes-Slater is a neighbor. She's a Baha'i who grew up in Unity, and she's going to be speaking on August 3rd. She's a world traveler and speaker and worker, and now she works for the Wayfarers Foundation, but she was the director of human resources at the University of California at Berkeley for a while. So I did not know that until I just researched her. So I hope we'll enjoy having her with us. And then we're going to be doing spiritual banners. Julie was one that painted many of our spiritual banners, as Jackie has made a number of them. And as you look at our banners, you can see there's all different degrees of artistic ability, and yet Spirit speaks through us and teaches us how to listen to Spirit and how to act on what Spirit says. So I hope you'll join us for 2 sessions of banner making on the Sundays after lunch on August 10th and August 17th. And then we know that all of our blessings, everything that we have, comes from the one. And so let us say the affirmation that is on the screen, and then Liz will pass the basket together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all I am, all I give, all I do, and all that I receive. And you can see there is in your bulletin and on the screen, a QR code for, what is the name of it? It is Zelle, for Zelle giving. So feel free to use that way of giving. And now, again, Julie's beautiful picture. As I give, I truly receive. Let us sing this. How many times, Julie? 3?
I think it will. Just go through it, I think.
Okay.
We'll play it by ear.
We'll lead, you lead.
As I give, I truly receive. I am a child of God. As I give, I truly receive. I am a child of God. Just as I truly receive. I am a child of God. Just as I am, I truly receive. I am a child of
Perfect. Thank you, Julie. So today, we are talking about receiving. Am I a good receiver?
Do you want to do
Oh, I want the daily word.
Daily word. Yeah.
Where did it go?
It's such a good one today.
I made it.
Did you?
I made it, but I don't see it. Oh, God. Yeah, come and read it. I don't know that I have the slide. I don't know what happened to it. But David can look through slides. I have a sense that it just got eliminated with old slides. David, you're so good. Yeah. I made it yesterday, and then when I worked on my service today, it should be right after that and before that. Well, we can do with just listening to you, Jackie, so thank you.
Okay. Which way are you
I'll
going?
just come sit here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The word for today is surrender. Spiritual surrender is my path to peace. It's natural to have ideas and preferences about how things should be and to work toward the results I want. But I can exhaust myself if I attempt to exert control over my life circumstances. In fact, the more I try, the less control I feel that I have. Releasing the illusion of control, I practice spiritual surrender. So much more than giving up, surrendering my efforts and my hopes to the divine within me is an act of empowerment. It means living my faith that God is in and through all things. It means trusting that there are outcomes better than the ones that I have imagined. I surrender to God's peace and perfection within me. I give up trying to control outcomes and relax, welcoming serendipity and ease. Surrender is the way. And from Proverbs 23:26, my child, give me your heart, and let your eyes observe my ways.
Thank you, Jackie. I do remember the slide I made, but
Oh,
I have no idea where it disappeared. So, I have a story to start with. It's called Dogs Rule, as they evolve over time. Dogs are never allowed in the house. They stay outside in a specially built wooden compartment known as the doghouse. Okay, the dog can come into the house, but only for short visits or if his doghouse is being renovated. Okay, the dog can live in the house permanently, as long as we sell the doghouse at a yard sale to a new dog owner. Inside the house, the dog is not allowed to run free and must stay in the secured metal cage. Okay, we'll sell the cage too, and the dog can come and go whenever he pleases. The dog is not allowed on the furniture. Okay, the dog can be on the old furniture, but not on the new furniture. Okay, the dog can be on the new furniture until it looks like old furniture, and then we'll sell it and buy new stuff, which the dog will not be allowed on. The dog never sleeps on the bed, period.
Yeah.
Okay, the dog can sleep at the foot of the bed. Okay, the dog can sleep beside you, but not under the covers. Okay, the dog can sleep under the covers, but not with his head on your pillow. Okay, the dog can sleep under the covers with his head on the pillow, but if he snores, he's got to go. Okay, the dog can snore and dream in the bed, but he is not allowed to sleep on the couch in the television room where I am now sleeping. That's just not fair. The dog is never listed on the census as primary resident, even if it's true.
Oh, wow.
Any of you relate to that? Okay. Yes. So, now I asked you to think about this story from the dog's perspective. The dog is just being a dog. And that dog is willing to receive the blessings that life offers, right? And as he receives these blessings, what does that dog really want to get? Attention. Good. Anything else?
Love.
Love. Yes. Anything else?
Dog treats.
Dog food. There you go. Yes. Anything else?
Touch.
Touch. Yeah. What else? Maybe more and more freedom. More and more comfort. What is the most important thing you think that this dog receives?
the owner's attention?
Yeah. Building that relationship with the owner, with his master, right? The master that the dog loves. and to be able to be in the presence of the Master night and day, close and personal. Isn't that what we all want?
Yes.
Yes. Whatever we understand the Master as, we want to be connected. And we can certainly take that to a spiritual level and understand that we want to be up close and spiritual with however we understand God, night and day, up close and personal. What does the Master receive? And why does the Master give?
Unconditional love.
Unconditional love, yes. He receives it, and obviously it starts off very conditional, but it becomes pretty unconditional, doesn't it? Yeah. And the Master receives all the aspects of love. You know, the caring, the companionship, a sense of humor, because the Master is able to laugh at himself in this story, right? And understand how love can push you and push you and push you and grow you and grow you and grow you. Isn't that what love does? Love pushes us past where we think we can go and takes us far beyond that. And in this story, we see that there is not just the dog that's receiving. The dog is receiving, but the Master is receiving as well, right? So there is this relationship between giving and receiving. In order to balance the world, balance our lives, our spiritual lives, our physical lives, there is this giving that needs to be received and the receiving that needs to be given. And you need both actions. What does a giver receive? We talked about it in the story, but what do we, when we give, what do we receive? Anybody get joy from giving?
You can feel generous.
You feel generous. And generosity is such an important word. Yes. There's like this overflowing of abundance. It's an awareness of that we are abundant beings and that we live in an abundant universe, and there is a joy that comes from giving of that abundance. There are different ways of giving, and I'm not going to go a lot into different ways of giving in this talk today, but you know, if you give grudgingly, you're not going to feel that joy, that generosity that comes from really cheerful giving. But if you give cheerfully, joyously, you're going to reap a lot of benefits from that.
If you give generously, you're blessed by God.
Absolutely.
You may not get anything from the receiver, from a human, but you will get a blessing from God.
You are putting that out into the universe. It's karmic, right? And it's up to the universe, God, what blessings you get back. But the more you give, what happens?
The more you receive is blessings from God, even though you
Yeah.
receive nothing in return from another human.
And so giving to expect to receive is not the highest form of giving, is it? No.
Sometimes you do receive and sometimes you don't receive.
Exactly. Exactly. What does the receiver get?
Feel supported.
Feel supported. Yes. A sense of connectedness, right? A sense that someone cares. But there's also, and I did this talk because often I see people unwilling to receive. You ever run into people that are unwilling to receive? Yeah. And it's like, wait a minute. You're stopping my good by your unwillingness to receive. Or you're stopping someone's good. Because there's that flow, and when the universe wants to give, it really needs a receiver. So it's important that people understand, because the ego can stop the receiving, right? So it teaches us humility. To be able to receive, you have to be humble. My sister is very generous, and when I travel out there a lot, and she gives me money to help me pay for my trip. And, if I was all about ego, I would not be able to receive that. But I very gratefully receive that. Yes. So gratitude is another thing that the receiver gets to work with and have. It's when we're on the receiving end of things, our hearts open, and gratitude can well up in us as an energy that just fills our whole being, right? So, does everybody have a sheet? Because I'm going to go through, and I'm going to ask, I'm not going to read all of these, but I found this website, and it was pretty awesome. And it talks about giving and receiving, and it has quotes from the Judeo-Christian Bible. And the first thing it talks about is quotes on giving. So I invite you to look those over and tell me which ones touch you the most.
I like the one with Luke because I'm familiar with it. And
So I'll read Luke 6. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down and shaken together and running over, and it will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use will be measured to you. I remember with the measure you give will be the measure you receive. But that's yes. So, anything you want to say about that, Jackie?
well, I think I used to hear that in my church at Santa Anita.
Yes.
It means a lot. When you think of shaken together and running over,
Yes.
your good will come to you in many different forms.
And that's a part of that cycle, isn't it? Of giving and receiving. As you give, you will receive. Yes. Anybody else have another one that strikes you?
One from Colossians 3:23 to 24. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance
Okay,
from
now.
the Lord as a reward.
Okay. Are you on the first? Just be the very first section.
Oh, the very first.
Very first section.
I'm down
Okay.
in the third one.
Yeah, you're down into the higher, even higher spiritual understanding. So we're going to get there, and so remember that one. Okay. So there is a lot of wisdom.
I have a favorite Bible verse.
Tell me.
It's Luke 12:32. It
Okay.
is a Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom.
Yes, that one too.
Yes. It is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Luke 22,
12:32.
12:32. And what is the kingdom?
Like,
Everything you can imagine, isn't it?
yeah, it's not just material things, but it's also spiritual things and
Oh,
things like
goodness.
health and
Yes.
abundance and
Yes.
talents and
Bling.
imagination and ideas
And creativity.
That's right,
And
everything.
everything. And Julie, you are such a creative being, and I know I am assured that everything that you create is coming from Spirit, right?
It does.
It just flows through
You
you.
know what, the thing is, like, you're given the gift of an idea, and now you have to think, well, how am I gonna manifest the idea?
Right, you've given an
What do
idea.
I need to say, or what is my job,
Yes,
you know?
what is
Now that
mine
I've
to
been
do?
given this idea, what is my job to do with it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and just listening then. Listening, what is it? Minute by minute, right?
Right.
What is mine to do now? What is mine to do now? What is mine to do now? So let's go into the next ones on scriptures on receiving. As you look at that, starting with James, do you have a list of Julie, did she give you a,
Yeah, I
Okay.
have a list right
Okay.
here.
so is there anything in particular?
Well, especially give thanks in all circumstances.
Yes, First Thessalonians, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. This is again high teaching. How many people have circumstances in their life that they don't want to give thanks for?
Yeah.
And yet, what happens when we have a problem or a challenge in our life? Is there a gift for us in the midst of that challenge?
Usually is.
Yeah, I think there always is. We don't always find them
No.
because we don't always look,
No.
right? Even death can be a gift, right?
Yeah. Or being fired from.
Or
job.
being fired can be a gift.
Yeah.
You know, the things that we think we don't want, when we look back, it's like, oh, if that hadn't happened, then this wouldn't have happened.
Right.
And so we can give thanks knowing that there is a blessing and God's will is in that, not to hurt us, but to lift us up, to lift us higher, to lift us into something new, a new idea, a new experience. I think our souls come here to have experiences. And sometimes we need experiences that we don't even understand, let alone our friends may not understand. And yet, that what our soul needs may be something that we just have to move through and give thanks for it, even if it's very painful or challenging. And then we have Isaiah saying, so do not fear, I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. So God is there in the midst of it, and we have to be willing to receive God's gifts as well, right? If we shut out God, we're not going to receive those blessings like we could, not full on anyway. So we want to be open and receptive to receiving the blessings that the universe, and many times the universe pours blessings through other people, right? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to move on down to intentional giving. Sometimes we just give because we're expected to give. I have a pile this high on my table of
Me too.
people wanting money from me, and I want to give to every single one of them. But I don't have the funds to give to every single one of them every week. So, I dole it out little by little. But intentional giving, where I really, what they do touches my heart, and I just need to give because I believe in what they are doing so much, and I feel Spirit is pushing me. You ever feel like Spirit pushes you to give somewhere to something? Yes. Yes. So one of my classmates is calling me. She may not know that I'm on live. This is usually later for Unity Church service than she's expecting. So we have this intentional giving, and a part of that intention is to uplift others, right? To help those that are around us. And that's why all these donations of all these organizations that help others are important to us. And we all have our favorites, right? And there's ones that come and ones that go. And so there is this this list that I have here of intentions, which spreads love and compassion and kindness. So from this list, which goes from Colossians and 1 John and Matthew and Luke, is there a scripture that you particularly like?
Oh, I like that last one.
So Luke 21, 1 through 4. As Jesus looked up, he saw the rich putting their gifts into the temple treasury. He also saw a poor widow putting 2 very small copper coins. Truly I tell you, he said, this poor widow, has put more into the treasury than all the others. The widow's mite is when I grew up, that story was called. And yet, so it's not so much about how much we give, but how much of what we have we give, right? And it's all important to God. Our willingness to be the giver is important. And I also like 1 John. If anyone has material possessions and sees a brother or sister in need, but has no pity on them, how can the love of God be in that person? Love connects us. When we see someone hurting, that's why it's so hard for me to see people on the street. And sometimes I give them money, sometimes I try to help them. And sometimes they don't want to be in any place but where they are. So it's a challenge, but it hurts because love wants to uplift and help. Then we have the encouraging through giving promotes growth and fosters a sense of community. We live in amazing communities here, and I know our city councils, our mayors, the many different organizations that work in communities are all working towards spreading love. So is there anything in this that particularly strikes you as important?
As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another.
And iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. We come into, and sometimes that sharpening can feel like conflict, can't it? And yet, that conflict can take us into new experiences, new ways of being, new understandings. So just because there is conflict in your life does not necessarily mean to run away from it, right? But to get the lesson out of it. Each carries each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ, because there's no other. You know, it's easy to think, well, they and us. But in reality, we're all one. We're all one. And then finally, the act of receiving is not just about taking, it's also about embracing gifts, kindness, help with a grateful heart. So is there any in here, including the Psalms or the Colossians?
Like First Chronicles, there is a good one.
First Chronicles, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, and his love endures forever. to remember that God is good. And in fact, in unity, God and good are synonymous. That's what God is, good. And I thank God every time I remember you having relationships that are rich. We're here to have relationships. Those relationships. Can you imagine what it would be like to be without relationship? Hell to me, but I thrive on love. I thrive on relationships. So, we can thank God for all the relationships in our life. And then generosity. Generosity is a powerful way to express our caring nature. And in Proverbs it says, the generous will themselves be blessed, for they will share their food with the poor. Buddha says something like that. It's like, if you knew the power of generosity, you would share every meal with someone. It's an important thing to share what we have. And that brings joy. So this whole service is really about giving and about remembering that we are created in God's image, and God is generous. God gives everything, and so that is really who we are.
Yeah, isn't there a unity song? You can't beat
Can't-
God-giving?
You can't beat God giving, something like that. And you can't outgive God. And yes, so there's a lot of spiritual understanding around giving. And the more you give, the more joyful you are, and the more you receive. How many of you have tried that? What I find, especially in tithing, I started at 2%, then 3%, then 5%, then 7%, then 10%, then 12%, then 15%, and I don't know where I am now, but I find that there's always this huge blessing for me in giving. And that's giving money, but it's also giving love, giving consideration, giving time. Everybody, like the dog wants time with the master, right? We want time with our loved ones. We want time with God. And so are we going to be willing to make time with God? So this is a quote from our Unity co-founder, Charles Fillmore. He says, giving and receiving. It is necessary to give freely if we are to receive freely. The law of receiving includes giving. The knowledge that substance is omnipresent, everywhere present, and that man cannot therefore impoverish himself by giving, but rather will increase his supply, will enable man to give freely and cheerfully. When we understand that law of giving and receiving, we find that we are living in really abundance, and that's a wonderful thing. One of my favorite authors to quote is Hazrat Inayat Khan, who's a Sufi, and he says, he says the absence of generosity means that the doors of the heart are closed. Do you see that in this world? Do you know people who just cannot give? And that's very sad. It's like the Pharaoh in Egypt, whose heart was so closed. Albert Schweitzer says, a man is ethical only when life as such is sacred to him, that of plants and animals, that of his fellow man, and when he devotes himself helpfully to all life, that indeed is of help. Julie is a gardener. Are you still gardening, Julie?
Oh, yeah.
I was out in my garden this week, and I went to see my classmate is calling me again. I don't know if there's a problem. um, I planted a milkweed a couple months ago. And when we came back from our trip, it was huge. And I was so excited, I didn't even recognize it. And then I went out 2 weeks later and I went to look for it and I couldn't find it. And all these branches, I mean, it had been this big. All the branches were gone except one tiny little branch. And guess who was nibbling on that branch?
Caterpillar.
A monarch caterpillar, just like I saw in school. Remember those pictures of monarch caterpillars? And it was there. And so I oh my God, the caterpillars, they're gonna need more milkweed. So I ran out to the store. I bought 7 plants. It's like I have to have a milkweed forest for these. And there were monarchs flying around. I had been gone for 2 weeks, almost 3. And so that's what happened while I was gone, was they ate up the plant and they reproduced, and now I have a yard full of monarchs. So it's so important to remember that the garden, the flowers, the creepy crawlers, all of that is a part of our life and an important part of our relationships to develop. Another thing that Kahn says is, real generosity is an unfailing sign of spirituality. When we get it, that we are givers just like Spirit, just like God, then we are really along that spiritual path. And Mother Teresa, who has wonderful quotes, says, "Let us not be satisfied with just giving money. Money is not enough. Money can be got, but then they need your hearts to love them. So spread your love everywhere you go." So I invite you to think about, what are you called to give? And what kinds of things do we need to receive? Those are the questions. So I'm going to take us into a visualization, and I just invite you to take a minute and settle in place and think about something that you have received that was really important to you. It could be something physical, it could be words, it could be a touch, an image, a picture. It could be from Spirit or from another person. And bring that image to your mind. It could be from a pet. And feel the blessing for yourself at many levels. And then consider the blessing that the giver has received in blessing you with that gift. And so, does anyone have something they want to share from their journey inward?
My mother,
Your mother.
she made my clothes, not all of them, but some of them, when I was in junior high school and when I was starting high school. I was growing fast and we didn't have enough money to go to a department store and buy new clothes. So she made them. and I had something that was new to wear, and her blessing was is that she had given me something that was new to wear, and not something that was from the Salvation Army or Goodwill or secondhand. But that was her blessing.
Wow.
And my blessing was that I had something that was new and not hand me down.
And what was her blessing?
That she saw me in new clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah. She saw me in new clothes.
Beautiful. Thank you, Ruth, for sharing that. Anybody else want to
I've
share?
had some amazing, amazing gifts that just to this day floor me, magical. When I was actually a freshman in college, and I had this horse that I really loved very much, and she caught some kind of virus and died,
Oh my gosh.
and it was devastating to me. I just loved that horse so much. Her name was Patches. It was a beautiful little pinto mare. And there was this family that I guess it's a small town, so they all knew I was horse crazy, and that I loved my horse. And this family that I had babysat for many years gave me this beautiful 2-year-old quarter horse filly.
Wow.
I mean, we're talking something that she was registered quarter horse.
Oh my gosh.
She was worth thousands of dollars.
What a treasure.
I mean, can you believe that? Because they knew how heartbroken I was and how much I loved my horse. So,
Beautiful, beautiful.
and then of course I was getting ready to go to college. And she was just a big dog. Like you could go on the top of the haystack and wave your arms and yell, and she would like run. And she had been trained for ringing, so she'd get right next to the fence and she'd go whoosh.
Wow.
She was just amazingly gorgeous. And then when I went away to college, my mom and dad sold her, but to a very lovely girl who wanted,
Yeah.
needed a horse. So she went, and then there's another gift. Can I tell you about this one too? I had been renting a piano from the University of Redlands for $50 a month. It was this beautiful, it was actually the piano, the case was really totally beat up, but it was a 1920s Kanabi, and I love Kanabis. Had a beautiful sound, and I had asked, can I just buy it? They said, no, we're going to recall all of the pianos, actually. So the university recalled all the pianos, and then I was without a piano. And that very week, my friend Barbara, her significant other, because I had been so offered my house for her to stay in when she was living in Santa Monica, but she stayed at my house like 3 times a week because she worked at Patton Hospital. And they gave me this beautiful little Kimball Baby Grand. And it was not my dream piano. It wasn't a beautiful piano, but it was a very decent instrument. And I had that for years, and I was very content with it. And then when my husband died and I had saved enough money to buy the piano of my dreams and have it restored, I gave it to Audrey.
Oh, you gave it to Audrey.
Yeah, because it had been given to me. So I just said, it's not the greatest piano. It's not going to be a Steinway and the piano of your dreams, but it's a decent little instrument. You can make music on it.
And you have.
So now I have the piano of my dreams, and Audrey has that nice gift piano.
How wonderful. And I hope you're able to feel all those
Yeah.
blessings, all those levels that come from that. Anybody else want to share briefly before we?
Well, I suppose the biggest gift I got was the diamond engagement ring.
Oh.
And
There you go.
39 years of marriage.
A whole life to go with that.
Yes.
Yes, that's an
And all
amazing
that comes
gift.
with that, which is a lot. Children, now grandchildren, great-grandchildren. It goes on and on.
And I was just thinking about this week we were given the gift of a dead baby bird by one of our kitties on our front porch, and you know how they love to bring their master
Treasure, yeah.
their treasures, and as much as I hated to have that happen,
Yeah.
in her mind, she was given the best gift possible. So, I want to share from our African ancestors this understanding. The goal of the community is to make sure that each member of the community is heard and is properly giving the gifts he has brought to this world. Without this giving, the community dies. And without the community, the individual is left without a place where he can contribute. The community is that grounding place where people come and share their gifts and receive from others. And that's what this church is about. That's what our communities, our cities are about. That's what our nation is about. That's what our world is about, giving and receiving with love. And so let us. Julie, do you have some special music today?
Sure, I will play this beautiful piece by Ravel. This is from his piano concerto.
Thank you. want to get up from that. I just want to stay in that energy. And so let us share our prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And so it is. Let us do. Peace on and give and receive in this wonderful cycle in which you were created. And so it is.